Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are back here at MMA Draft Spotlight. This week we're talking to Gabe Scarpelli.
How you doing?
Good, Gabe. How you doing, buddy?
Doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Appreciate it. You know, it's nice to actually get a hold of somebody that actually understands kind of how the world works as a whole game. You know, and you're kind of in that game. Let's explain a little bit to the fans who you are and what you do. Can you get into kind of get into what you do and how we are a little bit for us?
Sure. I own a company called World Combat Series. We're an amateur mixed martial arts promotion in California. And I've been in the gym business and the MMA business for quite a while. And we've been trying to cultivate and build something for California. And this year has been the year that everything has changed for the positive. So we've been building it.
Now, everyone keeps talking about this camo organization. Can you explain to the fans at home what camo is?
Sure. Camo is the Amateur Mixed Martial Arts Association, and it's a California-based company, and they're overseen by CSAC, which is the California Sanctioning Body for Athletic Commission. The purpose of camo was to create the whole regulations and building for amateur mixed martial arts as a whole, because in the beginning, as we know, it was unsanctioned, it was non-regulatory, and they finally helped us to create some standard operating procedures and protect the fighter, and also to make sure everyone was holding on their own.
Now, what do you see the biggest problem right now with amateur athletics in California? Now they've got the regulations in. Do you see the rules being so much different than when these kids make the jump to pro that there's a big problem? Or do you see there's enough of a difference between the amateur ranks and the pro ranks as far as the regulation, the rules go in California? It's an easy jump.
It's somewhat of an easier jump now because at least there's a standard coming up. Where before the amateur rankings, they'd throw elbows, they'd have knees, and a lot of the things that would damage them early, which even in professional MMA, they've allowed it, but it's one of the most injury-causing effects of the sport. So I think it's allowed us to kind of cultivate as a sport and actually groom them. So by the time they go professional, they've had a lot more experience and hopefully have an idea of what the whole MMA game is all about. Okay, now
what is your... This is kind of a weird question because you have to kind of pat yourself on the back a little bit to get the answer out correctly. But how did you get such a great reputation for being from one of the premier promoters for amateur MMA in California? Like, you've got a huge reputation of being one of the best guys out there for amateur sports in all sports, let alone just in MMA. How did that come about?
Honestly, I always keep my word. I always under-promise and over-deliver on everything we do. I care about the fighters, and I don't just care about the money. So I was a wrestler through college. I actually wrestled here in Cupertino at Cupertino High School, West Valley. We had BJ Penn on our team. I grew up a lot of the guys who didn't have an opportunity to go anywhere. And at 18, finally, MMA started becoming more mainstream. So working with them and seeing what trials and tribulations they had growing up into the industry without an amateur ranking gave me a lot of foresight of what the problems were and what we can kind of overcome up front. And working with the camps and fighters and doing all of that has been a huge difference versus just calling a guy, hey, you want to fight this weekend? So I try to add that personal touch and always make myself accessible to everybody.
Now, do you see World Combat Series expanding to other parts of the state, other parts of the country? You're going to try and take it on the road, or are you going to stay just California-based?
I'd like to stay California-based right now just because of the camo application. And what we want to do, and we're doing it with this show this weekend, we're bringing fighters from out of state. So I have fighters coming from Colorado. He's the #1 ranked in Colorado, Jacob Hernandez. Oh. And he's fighting the #1 fighter in California. Because I feel like California has this reputation. They have a lot of MMA, which we do. But I think that there's great fighters across this nation that would love an opportunity to fight other people from different states, and we want to afford them that and also create this new diversity of talent that's going to grow with us and help the sport as a whole itself.
Where is your next event?
It's actually this weekend in San Jose at the Civic Auditorium. It's the state championship, in fact, for camo. So The best of Southern California, best of Northern California, top 8. We have a 7-fight undercard, and we're really excited. It's been a busy week, but
so your undercard is the top 8 fighters in all the state of California, and then your main event, you're bringing in a guy who's the #1 ranked in Colorado to come in and fight the #1 ranked in California to have that. Okay, so but it's the camo state championships. Right. It's not the World Combat Series state championships. So camo, the governing body, came to you and said, "We want you to run our state championships this year."
Yes, we were fortunate enough to be granted that. They felt confident that we could deliver on a product that we do what we say. And again, we care about the fighters. So we've had We have 15 green fights, which means that they're all ready, paperwork in, everything good to go, and they're all super excited. And we're fortunate to work with guys who are at that teetering point where they could go pro next year. And they've had 12, 15 amateur fights, and they're at that stage where hopefully they utilize us as a vessel, which we are, and I accept that wholeheartedly. And it gives them the opportunity to move into the next level as a seasoned amateur getting ready for a pro.
You know, and that's the thing I like about MMA Draft is that we need that space to go kind of, where do I go next? How do I get to it? And they're able to talk to other promoters, especially guys like you. They're like, look, you want to make that jump to pro? You need to go talk to Uriah Faber, you go talk to Frank Trigg, go talk to Phil Davis, and they'll direct you in the right direction. If they can't, they know who to do it to, which is the reason why more amateur organizations need to get with more states, need to get organizations like Camo within their states to get it put together so that there's these other battles going on. Do you ever see a mixture of, well, right now in the pro leagues for MMA, the promotions aren't going to cross promote. You're not going to see a UFC, you know, working it out with Bellator. That's never going to happen. But will we ever see a World Combat Series working out with a U of MMA or something like that? Another amateur guys kind of coming together for one-offs, not you know, total collaboration, but like a one-off. Give me your fighters, your group versus my group, kind of gym rivalry, but it's really promotion rivalry.
Sure. I think at this point, really, we're all in that infancy of this sport. Camo's been around only since 2010, late 2010. So we're all really trying to make a name for ourselves and all trying to be the best promotion right now. U of MMA and some of the other ones are very good promoters. They do a great job. And we've been fortunate enough, I think, that we're in the right area in the right time. We're in San Jose, we're in San Diego, we're in LA. And we're in areas that are just MMA driven, you know, and we're fortunate enough to be in this time. And things like Strike Force and UFC, I mean, these are great, but they always fight each other. Now they're all one together, which is great. Well, somewhat. But, you know, somewhat. But at least it provides a lot of opportunity, I think. And Bellator going back to Spike, that's going to be an exciting changeover. I think it's going to be good for the sport. But that tournament style, the UFC style, I mean, we have an opportunity, I think, to really get them prepared for that. And that's why I have no interest in going into pro. I really want to stay cultivating these guys and making sure they have that right next step.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. It's another week here on the MMA Draft Spotlight. That's Gabe Scarpelli, and he runs a World Combat Series up there, actually everywhere. I want to say up in Northern California, but you really run it San Diego, LA, and San Jose. You're kind of everywhere in the state of California. If there's another amateur, say from Nevada, or say from in Colorado, wants to fight in your organization, how do they get a hold of you?
WorldCombatSeries@gmail.com, or they can go WorldCombatSeries.com and give us a call anytime. Our number and our email and everything is always at their disposal. We'd love to talk to them.
Thanks, Gabe. I really appreciate coming here with the MMA Draft. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Kurt.